Mansfield in the morning.
I'm going to talk about resilience.
Jeez, we need a bit of that.
Yeah, we do.
I think we desperately need it. But I do want to say, as South Africans, I think we are the most resilient nation.
Yeah.
We really do bounce back, and we always make a plan. So that's why I want to talk about it, because now we need it more than ever, and we need to actually practice resilience in
How do
all
you
areas.
practice resilience?
Well, you'll hear now.
Right. Sit
see?
back, make a cup of tea.
Yes, and have a listen. So I'm going back to babies, because I want to look at a baby learning to walk. So when the baby's learning to walk, first of all, it tries to get up and falls, tries to get up and falls. Finally, it will take 1 step, 2 steps, still falls. But each time it falls, it learns something. It learns a bit more about balance, it learns a bit more about its muscles, it learns a bit more how to actually stand. And eventually, as we know, people can run. So the point I want to make is that in order to learn to walk, the baby requires determination, an ability to learn. It also requires people around encouraging the baby, because we all, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're the parent or not, we always put our fingers out and help the child. And they get up every time after they fall and try again. They want to learn. And for me, children show tremendous resilience in all areas. The other area where I see resilience is people who've had a stroke. I'm always amazed at how they try and try and try. So even when the brain's forgotten, there's muscle memory and there's resilience, and eventually a lot of them get up again and continue. So as we start resuming normal activities, I think we as the people of South Africa have to learn to become even more resilient. And we need to actually do that, first of all, beginning with our thoughts. For me, our thoughts are very important. So I don't know how many of you ever read Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know if it was him or the little blue train, one of them used to say, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, going up a mountain. I don't want us to say that. I want us to say, I know I can, or I know we can, or we know we can, and actually change our thoughts, because when we change our thoughts, we change our words, and our words change our emotions, and our emotions then inform our actions. So we can actually do this if we practice it. So when you find yourself with a negative thought, change it, because you can do that. Now, the noun resilience stems from the Latin word resilience. It says to rebound, recoil, and the character trait of resilience is a person's mental ability to recover. So there again is talking about our thoughts, and it's our ability to recover quickly from misfortune, illness, or depression. Because for all of us, life is going to throw curveballs, and I think now more than ever. So we've had the big curveball, but now we're going to have several little ones that we're going to need to recover from. What are some of the character traits that people have? For me, obviously, as a person of faith, I believe we need to protect our souls. And I think people who are resilient do that. So I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago or a week ago, I shared from someone who wrote to me who'd been retrenched. And she spoke about the little energy she had. We need to make sure that we use that little energy and discipline ourselves, protect ourselves. So don't allow this thing to completely devastate you. But actually, when the things come, protect yourself and do things that make you feel okay, so that you can cope with the next day. I think resilient people also accept the battle. So they accept what's coming and they embrace it, and see it more as a learning rather than something adverse. So I know it's terrible. I know people are suffering. I understand the pain people are in. But I think that resilient people see what they can learn from it. They don't ask the question, why me? But instead they say, what can I learn? What am I learning? How can I get up? And they begin to look at ways in which they could perhaps get around it. So let's talk about churches. Churches are closed. We need to look at ways in which we can do church differently. We can't just stay in our beds and say, well, the church is closed and we'll do nothing. We actually have to find new ways, and you have to put yourself in the right place. And then they practice things like patience. There's tremendous power in patience. It might not happen today. We have to wait for the right time. You've got compassion. You have to have compassion for other people and for yourself. I think people filled with gratitude are more resilient. And they also let go of fear and actually embrace it and move forward. They live in the moment, which doesn't mean that you forget the past and you have no concern for the future and you don't have insurance policies and things if you can afford them. But they live in this moment. What do I have to deal with now? Instead of looking at the huge mountain ahead. And they develop flexibility. I think resilient people are very flexible. You find a different way to do things. And you also need to find the right partners. So you need to find the right people to journey with you, or the right person to journey with you, who supports you, who encourages you, and who doesn't break you down. I think that's absolutely vital, to be surrounded by good people. And successful people are always surrounded by good people. And then you need to take the next step. So it's really a case of getting up and taking the step. Even if it's a little step and you stumble and fall, get up and take the next step, and the next step, like a child learning to walk. And that, for me, is what we're going to need to do to practice resilience, to grow resilience, to become deeper in our ability to deal with what comes against us at this time. So that's me on resilience today. May God bless you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Reverend Shona.
Lovely.
That's why I love this radio station. Because they're good people around us.
Yes, it's
Yep.
true. Very true.
And it makes the job so much easier.
Here it comes! It's Mansfield in the morning. Driven by Sandown Motors, your Mercedes-Benz partner. On Hot 91.9.